Good morning. I am Diane Simmons with Cake Connection, and we are back again today for another free online video class. Thank you for joining us. Today we are going to do Cookie Decorating 101. We're going to show you some basics, give you a few tips on baking, and I am going to share our recipes that we use for I make what's called a royal icing glaze that I've come up with over the years. Gonna show you a few different techniques just for some basic intro type things. We are going to do a more advanced class. Not sure if I'm doing that tomorrow or Thursday, so keep an eye on the Facebook page. We'll make the announcement which one we're doing, probably tomorrow, but I'm not certain on that. So, to get started, I did want to give you some baking tips. However, let's first head over and show you today's prize. Thank you for watching. We are doing tipless bags. We have two different types that we sell. We have the smooth and the textured, and then I've got two different sizes of each. So today for our giveaway, you get one of each 100 count pack. And then we also have a couple of our new sets of mini cutters that we're doing. And these are by Autumn Carpenter of Country Kitchen. Sweetheart, and love her creations. She comes up with some really cute cutters. So that is our giveaway today. Be sure and just give us a shout out. Say hi. If you've got a class that you really want to see, give us a suggestion for that. We did just find out that we are now on shutdown until the end of April. So I'm not sure that we're going to make it every single day between now and then. We may have to adjust and do just 2 or 3 a week instead. I might run out of things to do here. But anyways, like I said, give us a shout out. Just say hi. Let us know you're on here. That will get you entered into the drawing for the giveaway today. Okay? So, back to baking. The one main tip that I guess people find the most useful is for rolling out your dough. I have always been a flour girl. I sprinkle flour out on the table and roll my dough out. But one thing I did find very handy is wooden dowel rods. Okay, these come in different sizes. These happen to be 3/8. That is what I tend to roll mine out at most of the time. But you put these down, put your dough in between it. No matter how big your rolling pin is, you can set it narrow. If you've got a smaller rolling pin, you can set it wider and roll your dough out. And it keeps all your cookies the exact thickness that you want. Okay? So, that is my one little handy trick. I know there are rolling pins out that have the edges on them. These are $1. So, that's where I go. And then another thing I get asked quite often is what kind of pan do I use? I use an air bake pan, okay? Sometimes you might see them called insulated pans, but hopefully that shows up. They've just got this little air gap in there. Is it showing it all, hopefully?
Yeah.
Okay. I do not put parchment down. I don't do anything special. I can't tell you the last time. If I burn anything on these pans, it would be the top of the cookie. The bottom, rarely. I've over the years, any type of cookie, whether it's, my sugar cookies like this or drop cookies, whatever, they really don't burn on these. So, I swear by and truly love my air bake pans. Now on, the other thing, I'm sure many of you are going to want to know the recipes that we're using. Jacqueline is posting a link for that. I've put a file on the website with my sugar cookie. This is exactly what I'm using today. It is the sugar cookie recipe that I make all the time for the classroom. It's honestly, this is the one that I tend to make often if I'm making stuff for my family or whatever too. And I very, very minimal spread with this. I don't do any chilling. I mix, I roll it, bake it. That's it. I personally think when you chill, you end up getting more of a doughy cookie in the center. They don't tend to cook all the way through. I'm not a fan of that. So I guess that's why I've always kind of steered away from chilling them. You do you, okay? Just do what works for you. Play around with, different, there are literally thousands of recipes out there. Play around with them. If you don't like one, if you don't like the flavoring in it, if you don't, play around with things. The biggest thing that I personally have found as far as stopping spreading and getting uneven cookies is your leavening agent, which would be your baking soda and or baking powder. The recipe that I put up, you'll notice it just uses 1 teaspoon of baking powder for a 7 cup of flour recipe. Okay? If you've got a lot more leavening agents than that, again, leavening would be either your baking soda or your baking powder, you may simply just need to reduce that on your recipe, and it may work just fine for you. Okay? And I know there are recipes that really do genuinely require you to chill them or, freeze your cookies after you cut them. I know a lot of people do that too. I don't want to be bothered with all those extra steps. So this works for me. It doesn't spread much at all. So we're happy and we roll with it. Okay, on to the icing. And again, this recipe is also posted. If you go look at the very top of the comments, this hopefully got in there as one of the first comments. First one. All right. Jacqueline says the first one in there. So recipes for the cookie and the icing. Very first comment. There is a link to that. Okay. The main thing with my icing, honestly, many, many years ago, we won't discuss how many. One of my friends contacted me. She got really sick and she had a cookie order. Di, can you help me out? Can you do these cookies for me? And I, of course, was kind of like deer in the headlights because I had not sold cookies before and I had never done anything with royal icing. So, yep, tell me what I got to do. And she gave me all of her recipes. I did so the customer was getting what they wanted. But afterwards, I made a couple extra, and we tried them. After the customer came, picked them up, said, oh, they're beautiful, loved them, whatnot. And we went to bite into it. They were like a rock, okay? Traditional royal icing on its own is going to literally suck the moisture out of your cookies. Royal icing dries very hard, and again, any softness, any moisture you have in your cookies, it's going to pull that right out of it, and they will end up essentially kind of hockey puck, like a rock type thing. Okay, so it was basically my quest to find the soft icing that worked, and what I found, I actually used some corn syrup and some glycerin in there. Okay, so we get questions on those. Glycerin can be found most any cake supply store. I'm not sure if grocery stores, some might carry it. I don't know. You have to take a look around, but this is just light corn syrup from any grocery store. Okay, and then flavoring wise, I really encourage you try what you like. Try different things. I'm a big fan of using the Loran, the little drams of flavoring. Just be careful. Some of them are a lot stronger than others, so If you're going to try the oil, for example, that one is literally, or I'm sorry, lemon. The lemon is literally an oil, and it's a lot stronger than your flavors, okay? Butter and cheesecake are two of the ones that I use most commonly in my Royal. All right, but again, play around, see what you like, see what your family likes. Try a few things with your customers, okay? All right, now I am going to sit down. We are going to get ready to start working here. And Eric will be zooming in on this, so it will probably be the end of my face that you'll have to see until we are all done. So this batch I mixed up. Honestly, the recipe that I've given, very often I don't have to do any thinning down with it. This one I put a little bit of extra powdered sugar in just so I can show you how to thin it if needed, okay? But the recipe as it stands tends to come out fairly close. All right? So this is too thick. All right? We don't want that. So I have some water right here. And I'm just going to start out, this is a half teaspoon, I believe. So I just put a couple of those in there. So we've got a teaspoon of water added in. And this is probably roughly a cup of icing. And I'm just going to stir that in real good. Okay, we are getting closer. What we're looking for, and I know a lot of people say you want 10 second, 15 second, 20 second. What that basically means when you see that, when you drip your icing off of your spoon, your spatula, whatever you're stirring with, okay? That is essentially saying it's going to self-level in 10 seconds, and 15 seconds, and 20 seconds, all right? Yes, you can sit there and count. My big thing when I stir it up, I just want to look and see, okay, if I shake it, is it leveling off? Yes, it is. Okay? So I'm going to say we are ready to work with this. Let me set my water out of the way so I don't spill that on anything. And grab some paper towels. All right, this is just a plastic cup and comes in handy when you need to fill your bags. These are some of our tipless bags. And if you haven't seen these or heard about these, well, you're probably not watching a lot of videos because this is like the super huge trend right now in cookie decorating. Tipless bags, basically, they're a very thin plastic disposable bag, okay? You will find them, this one has the texture on it. They also come in a smooth finish. Smooth ones are a very, very slight bit thicker plastic. Not a lot though, okay? Both of these, there's a couple, the main difference, there's only one seam on them, okay? And hopefully it shows up on there. If not, it'll show up a little better once we fill it up. There is just the one seam on them, as opposed to the traditional pastry bag, disposable pastry bags that have been around for years and years. which most of those have 2 seams, one on each side of the triangle. Okay. And they're also, where the seam is, there isn't that 16th or 1/8 inch of overlap of excess plastic. Okay. So there's basically nothing here to get in your way. When you trim this, you're going to get a really nice tip on it to work from. Okay. So to load these, you can just use any cup. Certainly you can do it with your hand. I just find it a lot easier for beginners. Put it down in the cup. All right. And then we're just going to put some icing in there. And that is plenty to work with. Okay. Then we'll pull that up. You can literally tie these into a knot if you want. If you happen to have a heat sealer, you can certainly use that. You can use twist tie if you want. You could put a rubber band on there. So many things. Here you can see I have a heat sealer, and I just seal these shut once I have the frosting in there, and then they're good to go. Okay? So you can close them off however you want, and you don't have to seal them, tie them shut or anything if you don't want to. So you can reload them. I just find it easier, especially if I'm doing classes or something. I tie them off or seal them off just because most people, when they're squeezing, they're going to end up shooting it out the other end. All right? And we don't want that. That's a big old mess. All right. To snip these, you want to take your seam side, have that pointing up. All right? And then you do want some sharp scissors. Okay? And you can go down, just snip across that. And I'm going to pipe right here on the table. You truly do get a nice round pipe from this, okay? I honestly, for quite some time when I was reading all the different Facebook pages and blogs and whatnot on cookie decorating, I truly could not understand what all the hype was about these tipless bags. And I went to an event, and I will do a quick little shout out if I have any local Michigan people watching that are not a part of. There is a Facebook group called Michigan Cookiers, and it's an awesome group. Christine has all sorts of events for us, the gal that organizes it. Well, when we're not in quarantine here. Anyways, she has all kinds of fun events for us, and she's even coming up with some events while we're in quarantine. So, that's awesome. But anyways, what I was saying, I went to an event that was a Michigan Cookiers event, and they had these bags out, and I was like, okay, grabbed one to play with it. I was immediately sold. Could not believe the difference in these things. How nice they are to work with. So, if you haven't tried them, I'm a believer now. I don't even know what to say. I was blown away. Never expected it, but I was absolutely blown away at the difference with them. One thing with the tipless bags, though, you don't want to use those for regular buttercream icing. All right? They are too soft. They will blow out with just a standard stiff buttercream. Chocolate royal icing is soft enough. If you have a really thinned down buttercream that you're doing some lace piping or scroll work or something on the side of a cake, it would probably be fine for that. But beyond that, I would say no, you're going to want to use your standard disposable bags. Okay? So I am going to open this tip up just a little bit more here. Oops, that might have been more than I wanted, but that's okay. So the main thing with cookie decorating, you want to, well, you can do two different ways here. I personally will normally go in and outline the cookie. Okay. When you do this, you want to hold your bag up about a half an inch from the top of, from the cookie. Okay, so a quarter to a half an inch away. And just keep gently squeezing as you're going. Let the icing follow, all right? If, I'm going to do another one real quick here right beside it. Get my mess off there. If you hold your bag down on this, okay, hopefully that's showing up.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting thin spots. It is almost impossible if you are using it more like a pencil to draw a straight line. Okay? Hold your tip or your bag up in the air. Let your icing fall. It will fall in a straight line. Okay? Here I'm dragging on, trying to write a straight line. Here I'm holding it up above and letting the icing fall. Okay? That is not me being dramatic and trying to over-exaggerate. That's just what happens. Okay? So keep your bag up off your cookie. So once you have your outline, you can go back around if you want and stay with it, or you can just go back and forth. And basically, you just want to fill it back in. Okay? Sometimes I get bored and start going in different directions. And then I'll try to make my box a little smaller here and keep filling in. There's no right, no wrong. This kind of reminds me many, many years ago. I grew up on a farm. And I used to have to go out and mow hay in the fields. And it was always kind of a challenge. I'd sit there and start going in different directions and stuff. And I'd hear about it when my dad noticed it later. But it's all good. Something to break up the monotony of the back and forth. Okay, so anyways, once you've got your icing piped in there, these are some different scribe tools. Okay, this is just a metal one. This is a plastic one. Also, a lot of people call this a boo-boo stick. Okay, and then this is just a wooden one. This one has been discontinued. I don't know if we have a few of those left or not. It's just a wood with a metal. I think we mainly just have those two left. Okay. You can also, definitely you can use a toothpick. These plastic ones are very affordable. I believe they're 99 cents, I think. But again, this is something you would need to get at a cake supply store. But what you want to do is just go on your cookie and just work out where you've got those little gaps. Okay? And I'm just gently spinning. I'm not digging on the cookie itself. I'm just kind of spinning that around. You can also, let's see, hopefully Eric can zoom in enough. Mm-hmm. See where I've got that gap right there? You can kind of gently nudge your icing out to the edge if you didn't outline it really well. Okay? When I do that, I'm not just pushing it out there. Okay, I'm starting back a little bit and still just kind of gently swirling and letting it work its way out there. Okay, then once you have all your, whoops, never mind, my fingers getting in the way here. Typically, I will just shake it. You can also gently tap it. All right. And I think, yes, I did. Good. I was hoping I had some excess icing on here. I put it on a little bit thick over here on the side, hoping some was going to run down so I can show you. If you have your icing running down, you can just use your scribe tool basically as a slicing. Okay, and I'm cleaning off on my paper towel over here. But you essentially want to slice down, cut that icing, okay? Cut that excess icing off. Mm-hmm. All right. Oops, I got a little bit more over here. And go clean that off. And again, I'm just starting up and I'm slicing against it. Just to get that excess off of there. And don't forget, if you're just joining us, be sure and just give a quick shout out, say hi, so you can get entered into the prize package. Eric's going to zoom back over there real quick. We have a bunch of tipless bags that we're giving away, and then some mini cookie cutters. But we need to know you're here in order to get you entered. So just say hi, or give us a suggestion for a video that you want to see. We will get you signed up. And we do announce that at the end of the video. Okay? So, there we have a flooded cookie. Now, while it is still wet, and I have a bunch of icing that I colored up and got put in bags to get ready for us. So we're doing fun, pastel, springy Easter colors today. So I've got some bags all loaded up. And now, full disclosure, for whatever reason, I was inspired last night. Let's do some flowers. Okay?
Before you do your flowers, we have a question.
Oh, we have a question. Okay. What is our question?
Do you ever go through and outline all of your cookies and then go back to fill after the outline has dried a bit?
Okay. I have done that. If you do an outline, you are going to see the outline. Okay? If you want that look, it's absolutely fine to do. But you literally will see the outline once everything comes together. When I have done it before is when I have been doing, like, say, a monogram type cookie for a wedding or something, where if we were doing, if the colors were ivory and brown, for example, I would outline with a fairly thick line for, I would do that in the brown, go through. Typically for a wedding, you'd have anywhere 100, 200 cookies. So literally by the time I got done with all of those, I could go back to the first one I did and go back and flood it in with the white. Okay? So it just depends. But yes, you definitely can do that. If you are doing dark colors as far as a black, a brown, make sure that you do let that dry in between it. I would recommend at least a couple hours just to help with the bleed. Okay?
So we have a couple more.
Oh, a couple more questions. Okay.
Let's see here. How long can you store icing in bags?
Okay, the question, in case you didn't hear, I'm not sure if Jacqueline's close enough to the camera to hear that. The question was, how long can you store icing in the bags? I have thrown this glaze in the freezer, and I know it's absolutely fine. It doesn't separate. It doesn't do anything. As far as room temperature hanging on to it, I've only done that for a couple days just to test it, and nobody got sick in the family, so I know that was okay. But after that, I don't know, because I haven't really wanted to leave it setting that long. Okay. My whole philosophy, as you know, over the years and years I've been baking, I always want everything as fresh as I possibly can. So I don't freeze. I don't make stuff ahead a lot like that. So I don't really have a super good answer to say, oh, it's absolutely fine for 2 weeks or anything like that. Personally, if I were going to try saving something for that long, I would, at the very least, put it in the refrigerator. But as I said, I know the freezer is absolutely fine. I put some up there for a couple weeks, pulled it back out, and honestly, it doesn't even freeze solid in the freezer that whole time. It just stayed, it was very cold, and but it was still somewhat soft. But I just left it room temperature, stirred it back up, and put it in my bags, and it was absolutely fine. Tasted fine. Everything was all good. So hopefully that's some help for you.
Do you do macarons? Macarons?
I have done a couple classes here at the shop with macarons. I have not taught them. I had a friend who no longer comes to Michigan. I'm so bummed. Otherwise, I'd have her in here. But she is out in Arizona on a permanent basis now. She came in and taught some classes for us. I took the classes, but I got pulled away too much to say that I would feel confident to even try teaching them. So it's not a demo that's going to be happening. I'm sorry. If and when we get back to normalcy, I do have someone local here that I might be able to con her to come in. If I beg and plead really hard, I might be able to get her in here to do a live video for us on those. But if you're asking if I will teach a macaron class, no, I do not have the confidence to do one.
And then also, will the colors run?
Will the colors run? Do you mean will they bleed together? I'm assuming.
I think so. Yeah.
No, I've not seen issues with that, and I do have some cookies that I made last night. We're gonna get to those. Then when I pull those out, you can see, we'll zoom in and you'll see. Whoop.
Okay, I think we're good. We're good.
Hang on.
Okay. I think we lost.
Now you're back on. You're good.
Okay.
Guess we lost coverage there for a quick flip. Question was, how long do I store the cookies? Back to my statement just a minute ago, as far as I like things fresh and whatnot. When I had orders where I was actively doing stuff, I would do everything I could to make them just a day or two ahead. Okay? As far as, my family and stuff, anything I do now is just for friends, family, typically. But when I do, normally everything's eaten within, probably 5-6 days max, I would say. That said, I know a lot of people bake, 2 and 3 weeks ahead. They swear if they seal them up in bags and stuff that they're fine. Experiment. That is the best thing I can say. Experiment. Package them up and just have some that you can test. Test one once every 4 days or so and see if they're still okay, and just know when you made them and go from there. Okay?
Do the cookies need to be more hard, or can they be a softer cookie?
Oh, they can be as hard or soft as you want. I like mine a little bit on somewhat crispy. You can see, I've got some brown here around the edges. That's just my personal preference on cookies. If you like yours, and these still, I'll break one open. They're not hard. You see, they're not snapping real hard when I break them apart. So they still clean up the mess here. They're still soft as far as to bite into them and stuff, but again, it's what you want. And one thing I will say too, this icing actually softens the cookies up a little bit with the glycerin and the corn syrup in it. So don't underbake them with the expectation that your icing is going to harden them out either if you try this. All right. So my first one that I iced, I do need to do another one real quick because it has set up too much and I can't do the wet on wet stuff that I was going to start showing you. And I am doing a super, super quick. I'm not worried about my edges or anything here. I just want to get this flooded back in and get it ready to go. See, now's where I need my friend Carol that's probably on here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she is on here. I need her with her jokes right now to fill in. Because she's always full of some good ones.
She said pass the broken samples out over here.
She wants the broken samples. Sorry, there I hit the garbage. Okay, and again, we're just kind of real quick filling in those gappy spots. And I'm not going to super worry about my edges here, just because I don't want to make you guys wait for all that. But we are going to shake it out just to smooth it out real quick.
Baby, we're gonna go out for that.
No.
Alright. And, I don't know if this is showing up on the screen. Can you guys see there's a couple little bubbles there?
Give me a second. Yep.
Okay. Those you can just pop real quick. And they will blend back down. Okay. So then, while our icing is still nice and soft, I'm going to take some of my green icing. Let's see, which one do we want to mimic here? Oh, we'll do the purple one. That was pretty. And I'm just going to pipe some stems. And then I'm also just going to do some little kind of grass sprig sort of things down here at the bottom. Okay, and these are literally all going to blend down into the icing. Okay, this is what is called wet on wet. So we're basically piping our decorations and such onto wet icing. It's all going to level in together. Okay. So then I'm going to take my purple here. And I'm just starting a little bit down the stem. And just piping some dots and doing a little less pressure the farther out I get. And if you notice, I am still getting a lot of little peaks on these. Okay. I'm not worried so much about trying to make those disappear because I want you to see that they are going to blend down in and flatten themselves out. Okay, did those all show up on there all right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Okay. So, there is one flower. And here's one I did last night Okay, and you were asking about color bleed. So, Eric, can you zoom down in and see? You can see where the purple is right up against the green on there. We don't have anything bleeding together. All right. It's just all settled down in together. Now, one thing I want to do with this, and again, you guys, this is something, I have not done these designs of cookies before. It was just an idea I had. I thought, oh, we'll do something fun in flowers. Okay. Just to show some of this basic stuff. I'm going to go back on top of this. And just do a few more. Just for a little dimension. Hopefully you guys can see all this okay with the zoom. Mm-hmm. Not really any rhyme or reason to it. I'm just, like I said, adding some more to put a little dimension to the flower. Okay. There's a current and an overnight sit. All right. Then I'll show you some other stuff you can do with the wet on wet. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of videos out there on different ideas for this. As far as just doing some adding dots, adding hearts, this type thing. We'll flood one real quick again here, and I will show you some of that stuff. And if you notice, I'm not filling this in quite so much. I want a little bit thinner layer. Not sure if I've got enough in here, but because you can, once you start adding other items to this, you can very easily overfill. All right. Let's a little shake first here. Okay, and again, this one I didn't fill, so I'm going a little bit more on the side of my blade, just because I'm keeping it a little bit thinner for the base icing. Because I'm going to fill it in with some other colors and doing some stuff, so I don't want to have the cookie running right over the edge. Okay. So there we go. And again, if you're just joining us, be sure and do a quick shout out, say hi, let us know you're here so you can get signed up for our giveaway. We've got some tipless bags and some little mini cutters that we're doing. But we need to know that you're here so you can get entered. Okay. So we'll do a few different things on here. Probably one of the easiest is just to do some quick polka dots. And you can do different sizes, totally based on how much pressure you put when you're squeezing. Okay. So there we've got some polka dots. You can do striping. And again, to do this, you want to hold your bag up above and let the icing fall when you do a line like this, okay? Now, if you notice right here at the end, when I started it, it kind of did a little squiggle. I had a little lump in the end of my bag. I can gently force that out of the way and get it back so it looks like not a problem was to be had.
We do have a question.
Okay, what is our question?
Do you always have to outline before flooding?
You don't have to. There's some people do dipping. There's lots of different things you can do. I have at times before, if I just have, kind of a simple shape, if I had, just a plain round or plain square where I didn't have the zigzag edges type thing, I have just taken a spoon and put some icing on and just spread it around on there. And that works totally fine. Okay, so there we have some lines. So as far as, having to outline, it just depends on what you're doing. All right, just a second. I gotta change my gloves here. Had an eyelash on the table. So here we just did some quick lines and then some polka dots. When you have the lines on there, while this is still damp, you can drag, okay? And this, you just take your tip, start up above, and pull through, and then lift off. Now, if you notice, I'm cleaning this. Probably paper towel would be a better option to show you. So drag, clean your tip off, go back and drag, clean your tip off, okay? And that will settle back in. Trying to rush it a little bit here.
The design that you're currently working on, what occasion did you have in mind?
I had no occasion. I am just showing you some different techniques you can do with wet on wet. Okay? This is nothing in particular whatsoever. This is just some different options to give you. Okay? This would be something if you were doing, okay, I probably should have actually made this be more uniform, but for an Easter egg, this would probably be a common design here, something like this. Just do a couple zigzag sort of lines and then put some dots in between. Okay? This is truly nothing. I probably wouldn't do all this stuff on one cookie by any means, but this is just to show you some different things that you can do using the icing right while it's still wet. You can add designs to it. You can do different things, okay? So, let's do another one here.
Someone asked if you could drag through a wet dot and do a little heart for them.
Yes, you can drag through a wet dot and do a heart. Okay, that's why I started to mention, I don't think I finished my thought there a little earlier. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of videos out there showing different things you can do with just simple dragging like that. Okay, you can make lips, you can make hearts. You can get something looking almost like sweaters. That would be more this type thing to look like kind of some of your knit sweaters. You can also go in the opposite direction. You can go down and then turn around and come the opposite direction in between all those. Will give another total different look. There's really all sorts of stuff you can do. Highly, highly recommend play around with it. Okay?
And then how long do you wait for the cookie to cool down before you start designing?
How long do I wait for the cookie to cool down before I start icing? I honestly start working on mine a lot of times same day. Like the ones that I did last night, for example, before I left, I baked them. I don't know if they sat even for an hour. I pulled them out of the oven, cleaned everything up from baking, and then I started making my icing. I ran off. I had some orders to fill and stuff too while I was in here. I really don't know if they sat even an hour, to be honest. Okay. Oops, here, we'll show you again real quick. Just that slicing off the edge, because I over flooded this one. So if you missed that earlier, there, you can get those edges cleaned up. Okay, so here was another random thought I had for some of our flowers here. So what I did with these was just do a couple little loops. And I did a bigger one in the background. And then just kind of randomly filled those in. They're going to bleed together quite a bit when they not bleed, that was the wrong word, sorry. When they kind of, not really melt, but they mesh down into the white. You're not going to see the streaks like this so much. And I'll show you here, because I did do one of these last night like this. So I'll show you what I mean here in just a second.
Can you put icing on them while they are still a bit warm to help the icing settle smoothly, then decorate later?
I have never iced cookies while they are warm. Excuse me. My initial thought, actually I say I've never iced them warm. I have put fondant, some rolled fondant on them while they are warm. And that helps it stick to it. But as far as royal icing, I have never done that while it's warm. Okay, so I don't have a good answer on that. Now, while this is still wet, I'm going to go back up and just put a little bit more green up here for the calyx. Okay, and then also I'm going to pipe on some leaves. Okay. And I'm just putting a line down the center of them, kind of for a center vein look there. Okay, so next thing I want to show, once these are dry, now we did already show with the purple one, this one I just did. Oops. There we go. Eric can zoom in on those. I just did this one. This is actually still wet. This one I did last night. And then I did just go back in and pipe a few dots on the top of it just to give it a little bit more dimension. Okay, could do the same thing with the grass down here if you wanted to put a little bit more down there. Okay, then this one, I don't know if we want to call it roses or poppy. I guess we'll see how they look here when I get done. So what I'm going to do with this one, this is the one that I did last night. So it's all dry. Okay. I have some of the Chef Master edible pens, edible markers. And these have two ends on them. Okay. So there's a nice fine tip on the one end here. I will, full disclosure, this is completely out of my comfort zone, guys. I don't normally do this, but I love the look of it. So we're going to give it a try today and see how it goes. All right. So all I'm going to do is just kind of do some random just outline the petals.
And we do have a question if you're ready.
Sure.
Okay, so you use the same consistency icing for outlining and filling in the same size hole in the tip of the bag for all the decorating?
I do. Yes, I use the same size for everything. Okay.
And that's it.
Oh, that was our only question. Okay.
Oh, never mind. Another one. Does the royal icing recipe dry to a matte finish?
Yes, it does. Hopefully you can see that on screen. We'll zoom in here in just a minute. Okay. So there you can see this is dry. And these right here, these are both dry. These are still wet over here. Okay. So you should be able to see the finish. Yes, it's kind of like a satin matte finish on there. Okay. And this, I'm not really outlining the whole thing. I'm just kind of doing some little wisps on here. That one went a little bit more than... So for those of you who are not overly familiar with my typical decorating styles, I am a little... we'll say OCD about things. Okay, I struggle doing something like this. I'm very honest with you. I like everything very cut and dry, detail. I want everything lined up exactly even. That's just my personality. I like to measure out and make sure it's all exact and whatnot. So this, as I just mentioned, is totally not my normal comfort zone. But I really like the look. So I wanted to do it and give it a try today. So if I can do it, you can do it. All right. Here is another one that I did. Not so sure how I'm digging this, really. My thought was to shoot for some daffodils. Actually, I wanted to do twofold on here. So...
Can we ask you a couple questions while you're...
Yes, hit me with questions. What do you got?
Okay.
Start right here.
Does the royal icing recipe dry to a matte finish?
One below that one.
Yes, we already hit that one.
Is your icing a little soft when it dries?
Just not really, no.
So if this icing is softer, can you still stack them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's fine for stacking. You can bag them.
And then could you possibly add luster dust for a different finish look?
Definitely. You can always add luster dust on top of any... Oops.
And
Okay.
then I'm going to
Me
hover.
trying to fix this.
I'm going to show the pens for someone who asked. The pens that you're using
Yep.
are Chef Master.
Yep, they are Chef Master. They are double-ended. So you have a wider tip out here. And here, I'll write with it down here because I have not used the wider tip yet. Yeah, definitely notable difference going on here. Okay. And then you've got the thin tip, fine tip down here.
Can you freeze the cookies when you are finished decorating?
Yes, you can freeze most any baked goods. I'm personally not, I don't tend to freeze a lot of stuff, but yeah, you can definitely freeze. Just be sure when you do, don't put them beside a bag of onions. Just, saying. Huh. Not really sure what I'm thinking on this whole. I like the look of the red ones, not so sure on these yellow ones. But I did give full disclosure that this was my first time trying this particular style of design out. Okay. And then I want to show you one more thing too. If you don't especially care for that type of look, now there's something we can do quick and easy. So what do you guys think of the whole outline? I know there's probably a term for it. It's a certain style. Not really Art Deco, but I don't know what it's called. Are you guys fans of that type of look? Or I've seen a few other videos with it here and there doing different things, and kind of like it, but like I said, it's not my normal go-to style.
For the Jackson natives, can you kind of explain like the store hours or the operation, what we're doing during the pandemic?
For the Jackson natives, yes, I will be happy. Jackson, Lansing, all of my semi-local peeps. If you are needing something from the store, what we are doing right now during our mandate closed hours, you can call in or email or even place an online order, and we will get payment ahead. You can do payment via phone on your charge card, but either way, we are not allowing anyone in the store. However, we will come meet you outside if you just call us when you get here. More than happy to come meet you outside. If you want to pull up and pop your hatch on your car, we will put it in so there is zero contact. We're nowhere near you. You're nowhere near us. Okay? We are shipping daily for online orders. That's nationwide. Doesn't have to be anyone here in Michigan for that by any means. All right. We'll do what we can to get you what you need. Okay. Hopefully that answered any questions on.
It covered everything.
Okay. So,
And we're getting good feedback. Everyone's liking the pen work.
cool. What I'm doing here, these are just some pre-made royal icing flowers that we sell. Just some little daisies. So this, all I did was just pipe the green on there like we did for some stems. But then I'm literally going to just drop this in. Okay. Back that up a minute. These have a bit much of a stem on the back of them. Okay. What I did right there, they have this little calyx nub sticking out. I just popped that off because that was making it stick out a little bit more than what I liked. Okay. Oh, these are not going to fit down here with my stems I put on. Phooey. Let's see. I gotta draw one stem up just a little bit higher then. There we go. So boom, quick and easy, you've got that. So if you're not big on piping flowers or anything, you can still make something totally awesome.
So what kind of flowers are those again?
These are just some royal icing daisies. They're pre-made flowers that we sell here in the store. We have all different types. There's pansies, little apple blossom type. They're called a Dainty Bess, which are like 2 layers. We have lots of different types of flowers, colors of flowers, and huge variety as far as those go. Okay? So there's that. And then I have one more thing. I almost forgot I want to show you. I was playing around last night, and this is like probably one of the coolest things I thought for a background. I think it's just neat looking. Okay. All right, yes, that really is just that wispy and weird looking like that.
Well, Jackson Pollock.
Okay, then I'm going to take my blue and we're going to do the same thing. Get a little bit of an outline going here too. I don't know that I got enough on there quite yet. Okay, covered a lot of my white up. Back in there with a little bit more white. Okay. Now, I'm just going to shake this. And it's flying all over the place. Okay. Get some of my excess off there. I swear this didn't do it last night. Okay, I gotta spread this around a little bit. Get some of those holes filled in.
I had a question about what the flowers were made of. Are made out of.
Which, the pink ones I just put on?
Yes.
Those, okay, the pink daisies right here that I just put on, those are royal icing. They're just some pre-made flowers that we sell here in the store. You could absolutely pipe your own also and just have them made up ahead for this. Okay. All right. Just want to level that off some. And then we gotta go back and clean up our edges. Because boy, did I make a mess this time. So let that sit and dry. And that, I have to say, is probably one of like the favorite looking things that I've done. And that was just shaking it to get it to blend the marble together a little bit. Just for a cool, neat background. Oh my gosh, you guys, I did not realize we've been going at this for over an hour. I'm sorry. Okay, on that note, since I ran over here, I'm not going to do butterflies and stuff. I am going to do another cookie one with some more advanced. Okay. First, let's announce our winner. Do we have a winner?
Yes, we do.
Production crew says it is
Chloe Neal.
Chloe Neal. Woo-woo!
So that is Cloeneal.
Oh, you pronounced it right.
Okay.
So Chloe, just drop me a note. Let me know if you want me to ship this to you or if you just want to grab it next time in the store. Either way is fine with me. I don't remember if you're here in Jackson or I feel like you might be from Lansing, but I don't recall for sure. If you are here in Jackson, if you're going to be out and about, run to the grocery store or something, if you want to pull in real quick, just let us know. We can drop it in your car, or like I said, I'll ship it, whatever. That's totally fine. Okay? And then one other thing I wanted to do real quick, just to show you guys, we're going to go for a very, very quick walk out here and show you our cookie cutter aisle. For those who have not been into the store before, Eric is walking this way. Here we have cookie cutter land. So we have all kinds of this is just our seasonal stuff here. Basically everything but Christmas. And then we have a whole section of mini cutters right back here. And I'm going to step out of the way and let Eric walk down our whole aisle with you. You can kind of step back here and show you. This literally is an entire wall completely full of cookie cutters. And over on the other side, we have sets of cookie cutters too. I believe we have, if not 1,000, we are very close to 1,000 different styles on hand. So there are our cookie cutters, and then we also have them real quick. Sit back here and show you. We have all kinds of stencils. We currently have mainly Cookie Countess. I'm going to be getting another company's in essentially as soon as we open back up. I saw them at CookieCon this year. So we're going to be bringing in a few more even. Alrighty. But that will be all for today, folks. And we will be back, like I said, tomorrow. I probably will be doing some advanced cookie designs tomorrow. I think I might actually pipe some flowers right on the cookies. Brushed embroidery I was thinking about. If you have anything else that you really want to see, let me know. We're going to do some airbrushing on cookies. I'm going to show you the stencils. That I'll probably do on either Thursday or Friday, I'm not sure. So a lot of this week we are going to do, some different cookie type themes and roll with that. And then I'm going to do some Russian tips. I know a lot of you have asked for that. We're going to do those. So either Thursday, Friday, I'm not sure if we'll probably throw the Russian tips in there on Thursday, and then I'll wait and do the airbrushing on Friday. But I'm going to do some Russian tips on cupcakes for you. Okay? So that's all for today. Thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.